All right, a couple of minutes of mayhem of trying to get microphones connected. Welcome back once again to North Toowoomba as we continue the review of the BMW R1300 GS. This is a deep dive into the electronics, the dash, the GPS, and the functions that control the UI, the user interface and user experience. What do we got here? We have the stuff that you've seen in about a billion different videos. I don't think I'm going to grade this one. I don't think I'm going to put this on any kind of a number system because you already know that this stuff is the best there is. The only real rival, and they're all good nowadays, but this one is exceptional. And the only one to me that really rivals it is the Multistrada. And if you take dash versus dash, I think they're equal. I think this has some features that are better than the Multistrada, and I think the Multistrada has a couple of features that are better than this. Overall, I think they're about the same. But then you add this in. You add this in being integrated, being controllable from here, and this is the better overall. Like, this is just the best thing going. I've heard some people complain that they didn't get rid of the GPS and get rid of this and give it the 10-inch wide screen that they have on some of their bikes. I, for one, am glad they didn't. That unit looks very nice, but the GPS is integrated into it, and I don't like that. The thing that really makes this GPS good is the fact that you don't have to look down to see it. They're holding it way up high, and this is where BMW really killed the game by installing this over the top of this. So when you're driving down the road, all you have to do is just flick your eyes down and you see it. You don't have to tilt your head down. And personally, I think that's a little safer. Um, it might look a little bulky, but it works just incredibly well. And with that, let's get into it. So first off, you see this little bit here. It says TFT and nav, with nav being highlighted. So what that means is the navigator is what's under control of the multifunction wheel right now. So moving the wheel to the side changes the position of essentially the cursor on this. So I'll make the same movement to the side again. If this is the home screen of this, moving that to the side brings you into the GPS. Moving it to the side again brings you to the start function, which is a little oddly labeled because you go into this to pick where you're going to go. Go into my favorites. Let's say I want to go to my little blueberry. I click that. Um, and this is the only thing that's a little weird about this. For some reason, I can't use the GPS to access this options button. I have to touch that. This is already in winding high, and that's good enough for me. And from here on out, I can use the multifunction wheel. I refuse to call it the whiz wheel. And then just push the whiz wheel to the right again, and you're off and running. It's calculating your route. It's telling you where to go. We can get out of here because I'm not actually going anywhere right now. Oops, that was the wrong thing to do. Okay, so to the right again, down one to that X, en route guidance. And then you also have a couple other settings, which we'll go to first. Spot marker. Not really sure what that does. Oh, that saved that spot. Okay, seems simple enough. Can I now remove that? Nope, just doubled it down. Okay, I'll have to figure out how to get rid of that later. Next, we have settings. So going to the right again. Download maps. That only gets used when you're just sitting somewhere and have nothing better to do than download the new updated maps. In fact, pretty much all of this is stuff that you're really only going to use once when you first set it up. The download maps you will use several times. So this shows, this gives you the option to check these or remove them. Um, you know, you have a couple map modes, a couple of map styles. Where are the map styles? Oh, day and night. Yes, and I want automatic for that. Map labels. No idea what that is. In device language, in local. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a little weird. Display traffic. Yes, of course. Auto zoom. Yes. Reverse zoom. Sure, why not? Show favorites. Okay, so I guess that'll probably just show if you're riding past one of your favorites, it'll show you it on the map as you go by. Showed speed limit. I have that checked because I want to know the speed limit at all times. Satellite search. I have that checked. I think that was checked by default, and that's much of a muchness to me. Active calls, of course, I want that. I want to know who I'm talking to. And that's it for map settings. Navigation settings, route criteria. Okay, so this was what I had to check with my finger before. That's interesting. Spoken instruction, let's see. Frequency of spoken instruction. This does talk to me when I'm listening to it. Navigation information. Oh yes, arrivals. Oh, so this is cool. This is, you can put stuff up there and it shows you over here what you're going to be seeing. So if I want to see duration, okay, so that'll tell me I have an hour and 58 to go. I can count those, so I don't really need that. Delay, oh, that's cool. It'll show traffic delay. That's actually pretty cool. All right, distance, already have that. Oh, I see. This is arrival. I have arrival time to the destination checked. This is arrival time to your next waypoint. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Altitude, I have checked. I'd like to know how high I am. This is saying I'm at 840 meters right now. That's a little high. I think I'm at about 620 or something like that. No big deal. Once you start moving, that straightens itself out. And that's it. That's it for navigation information. All useful stuff. Instruction pop-ups. I don't know what that is. Well, it's on Navigator, so I guess that's something. Okay. And download maps is just download maps. So looking at this, you can see it tells you how far it is to your next turn, what time you're going to arrive there, how far you have to go until you get there, and like I said, the altitude, which is now showing 588 meters, which is a little short. Yeah, overall it works really well. This is the nighttime view, which is good because it's not emitting too much light. It's not blinding. It's not wrecking your night vision or anything. This is a good, solid unit, and I really like it a lot as a navigator. The app that goes together with it is another story. It is a piece of garbage. I'll show that later in this video. But for now, back into here. Next thing down is information about the motorbike. So this is one of the screens. This shows basically all the different things, like how far you have to the next, till you need to fuel up, the fuel mileage, the fuel economy you're getting, the ambient temperature, tire pressure, which it's not showing because I'm not moving, oil pressure, same thing. The battery level, I don't know why it's showing 2 battery levels. And the total miles, which I'm up to 7,750, which is hilarious because I started this multi-part owner's review when it was at 6,500. I ride a lot. Going back over to here, this has some pretty cool options. A compass. I have actually used the compass a couple of times. It's not really that useful, but there have been a couple of times when I wanted to know which way I was going. I click into this, boom, I know which direction I'm going. Lean angle. Lean angle is fun. Now, the dash, if you switch into the sports screen, this will also tell you what the angle is, but it's usually off by a degree from this. And you can see it as right now. This is saying I'm leaning 1 degree to the left, which I don't think I am because the bike is on the center stand and I'm on a concrete flat ground. And this is saying 0. So I'm not sure what the discrepancy is there. They're both reading off the same source of truth. I have noticed in videos where people are showing off their CarPlay units, whether it's the CarPuRide or the Chigi or whatever, they all kind of do the same thing. So it might have something to do with the way information is being interpreted by this dash versus by this. I don't know what the deal is. It's 1 degree. I don't care at all. But it is cool to blast through a couple of turns and see what your lean angle is. See how much you've see how much you've leaned it over. The farthest I've ever leaned this bike over was 58 degrees, and as you might guess, I had dropped the bike. That was doing some low speed practice. It happens. That's why we have the crash bars, and the crash bars worked well. Not a scratch on the bike other than the crash bars. Let's see what else we have over here. Oops. Oh, right. I have switched this to change this screen. I had to switch it over here. So to change it back, what you do is you hold this menu button up for a couple of seconds, and it tells you that. And when it gets to the end, now control has been returned up here, and I can control this again. So it's lean angle, compass, onboard computer, and what is this? Reset. I don't know what this resets, and I don't really want anything reset, so we're not going to do that. Next is media. This is pretty obvious. You play music. You can control music from down here. This is great. I don't love that I have to start the playback on the phone. I would rather this worked in more CarPlay-like fashion, where I could use this to access my playlists and stuff. But once it's playing, it works very well. You can use these controls over here to, play or pause, next track, fast forward. I haven't really used that, and back and settings, of course. Yeah, it works pretty well. I would like it if I didn't have to start playback on the smartphone, but that's my only real complaint about it. Phone works like a phone. You have favorites in there. I'm not going to show you mine, but they're in there. And connectivity hub, that's just for setting up the iPhone and the helmet communicator, whatever you have. I have a Cardo PackTalk Edge, and it's not connected right now because I don't have my helmet down here right this moment. Rides, this will show you this bike through the app, which connects to this while you're riding, obviously, will record your rides. I don't really know how I feel about that. I let it do it, but I'm sure that information is all being piped off somewhere and being used to target advertisement to me somehow. So, yeah. And then the settings, which are pretty straightforward: navigation, rides, music. So basically all the same stuff. Like if I went into navigation, it would be the same settings I showed you before. The only thing that I've really done in here is just adjust units. Like I changed it from the pressure from bars to PSI, and the distance to kilometers, the temperature Celsius. I don't know what you would do with those coordinates. I wonder if I should blur that out. Probably not going to, because I'm lazy. You can see you can use a SIM card with this. I don't have one inserted because I have a phone. Why would I use a SIM card for that when I have a phone? If I win a lottery, I'll probably get one just because why not? But my phone, I always have my phone on me, and it works perfectly well. So No reason to change it if it's not broken. Information, yeah, data privacy. I should probably read that. I'm not going to do it right now. I'm certainly not going to do it on the bike. But I am going to approve the use of your location data to improve real-time traffic information. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. Legal information licenses, certifications, who cares? And that's pretty much it. I really like this unit. I had some trepidation about getting it because it wasn't cheap, but it works really well. I like it a lot, and I'm going to, I'm probably going to get one of the CarPlay units at some point because I do miss having Calimoto and Waze. But for the most part, the navigation on this works extremely well. Like if I want to set up a ride and I want to make a twisty route and then add another waypoint, or if I'm on my way somewhere and I want to delete a waypoint, it's really easy with this. Like I said, I'll try I want to get a Chigi and just try it out and see how good it is. Who knows? Maybe it'll be way better than this and I'll end up selling this. More likely, I think, is I would raffle off the Chigi to one of my viewers. All right, let's get down to this. So once again, we press that to change over control from the GPS to the dash. And now I can get back out of here, back over to my vehicle and back up into this main default BMW GS screen. Clicking down on the menu takes you into this section here. Clicking down again brings you into a lot of vehicle information. Trip 1, trip 2, tire pressure. I've got to actually put air in my tires because they're both a little low. And then service requirements. I'm getting close to that 10,000 kilometer service. I'm going to have to buy some service packs, I think. They really do save you a ton of money, so got to do it. Going back up with the menu button and over with the multi-wheel and then down with the menu button brings you into here, which I showed you before. I love this screen. When I kind of wish that it would just automatically go to this screen when I put the bike into Dynamic Pro mode. That would be a nice little bit of functionality. BMW, if you're watching this, give me the ability to do that. There's not really much else to show about this. Dynamic traction control, it'll show you if you're getting any slippage or if it has to cut the throttle a little bit to let you get out of a turn unscathed. Braking pressure, yeah, I don't really know why I need that, but why not? And my favorite part, the lean angle. So back up with the menu button. Over in this navigation is grayed out because this is attached. If I detached this, that would light back up and I could use this for turn-by-turn navigation. I'll give that a try one time, but I'm not super fussed with it. Using the multi-wheel to go over to the settings. Basically anything horizontal is controlled with the multi-wheel. Whenever you see this, that downward pointing arrow, or an upward pointing arrow, that is something you would control with the menu button. So let's go down and see what's going on here. Tons and tons of stuff in here. Assist, you have your suspension, cruise control, front collision warning, which I think I have set to medium. Oh, no, I don't want medium. I want late. And this will break for me if I put myself in that position. I've had it kick in a couple of times. One time when I actually needed it to kick in because I had let my focus drift just a little bit. I would have been fine either way, but it alerted me. It basically alerted me, hey, there's something that requires your attention here. It's called the road in front of you. So it is an intrusive system, but it's one that I don't mind that much. LCW, no idea what that is. HSC, no idea what that is. But evidently it's in manual mode. I should look that stuff up, but I'm not gonna. But anyways, if you want to adjust the suspension, you got your damping configuration. You can see for road, I have it set pretty soft. For dynamic, I have it set pretty hard. And enduro, I have it set pretty neutral. I'm basically never using enduro. I've used it like twice the entire time I've had the bike. Cruise control. Active cruise control characteristics, I have set in comfortable. Front end collision warning, we've discussed that. Vehicle settings. Riding mode pre-selection. Oh yeah, so this is, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have 7 different modes. Dynamic Pro you can configure, Enduro Pro you can configure. All the rest of them are pretty much factory set. I have, you're allowed to have 4 set at a time. I have Rain, Road, Dynamic Pro, and Enduro Pro. Not really sure why I have Enduro Pro set, but I do. I have used rain mode a couple of times in the rain, and it very noticeably relaxes the throttle response and it cuts the horsepower by about 30 or 40, I think. So it brings you down to like 110 horsepower instead of 145. I'm going to try eco modes at some point. I want to make an attempt at hypermiling. That would be the mode that I would use. That gives you a little green bar up here that shows you how economically you're riding. So one of these days, I'll give that a shot. I do want to do a test to see how far I can get after it says I have 0 kilometers of range left. I got to the petrol station yesterday with 0 kilometers of range showing, and it only took 15.5 liters. It's a 19-liter tank. So, of course, there's some fuel that you can't use when you're on a motorcycle just because of the way it hangs over the frame. Still, that seemed like, it seemed like I would have been able to take on more fuel. So I want to see how far I can go. Let me know if me running out of gas sounds like fun to you. Backing out of here, lock when ignition's off, that's for the steering lock. Something control, let's see, target pressure warning. Okay, I think that's for the tire pressure. I don't know what RDC stands for. Lights, okay, this is the most frustrating thing. You hear people occasionally complain about the UI of the BMW electronics. For the most part, that's absolute nonsense. It's very intuitive, works very well, and you rarely have to go more than a couple of clicks deep into anything to get anywhere. But if I want to turn on the auxiliary lights, or if I want to turn off the auxiliary lights, I have to go into here, scroll down to here, and then check or uncheck that. So let me show you how far you have to go for that. So let me show you how annoying it is to get to the section of the menu where you turn on and off the auxiliary lights. So from this screen, this is, the default screen on the BMW dash. The first thing you do is you press the menu button down. Then you use the multi-wheel to scroll across 1, 2, 3 times. Down again with the menu button. Down to vehicle, from here you use the multi-function wheel to go down to vehicle settings and click it to the right. Then it takes you to this screen where you scroll down 1, 2, 3 times using the multi-function wheel. Use the multi-function wheel again to go to the right, and then scroll down 1 time to additional headlight. You click that, it's on. You click that, it's off. So that annoys me because I don't always want to use the auxiliary lights. It's my suspicion, looking at the other options here, auto daytime lights and comfort turn indicator. I think the comfort turn indicator is the auto cancel for the indicators. These are both things that you would set only once. So I think BMW took the point of view that you would either want to have the auxiliary lights on all the time or off all the time. That's not true for me. I want them on sometimes. I want them off other times. And this is an awful long way to have to go to get to this section. So with that, I want to change the focus to the UI UX, which largely involves this instrumentation cluster here. So everything is controlled from here. You have the multifunction wheel, you have the menu rocker switch, you have the up and down rocker switch that gets used for, controlling several things like the, can I do it right now? Yeah, so like right now, it'll control that. I have that set. I have this button set to control the windscreen. But if I want to control something else, you can set this to a primary and secondary feature. So the primary for me right now, obviously, is the windscreen. The secondary one, I would hold this down for a second. And on here, you'll see appear on the dash the heated grips, and oops, it switched. I didn't operate it in time, and it switched back to the windscreen. But holding that, you can see I can now control the heated grips and heated seat. So I push the up arrow to operate the heated grips, and it just scrolls 3, 2, 1 off, 3, 2, 1 off, and then the down arrow to do the heated seat, and it's the same thing, 3, 2, 1 off. And you wait a second and it'll go back to the windscreen, and then you can raise and lower the windscreen again. There are several other things you can operate with this, and to get into that menu, you press that, and here you go. Cruise control, you can use this to set the distance on the cruise control. Heating, that's the one that uses the hold function for the hamburger button. Windscreen, the dot indicates that that's the primary function of the up and down switch. Traction control, damping, suspension damping, which, you can, scroll through stuff. So you might notice that just got the dot beside it, which shows that now it's the primary function. To control that, you scroll the wheel to what you want, and then you just push it to the right. To control this, what will be the secondary function, you scroll to whatever you want, and you press and hold it. And now that's the secondary function that you hold this down for. Pretty intuitive. And I have heard people complain about this setup, and I don't think for the most part it's warranted. I can switch through these things. The first time I rode this bike, it was a little confusing. But you know what happened then? I learned. You learn on this bike by doing. This system works. All you have to do is just switch this around a few times, and it'll become second nature. For me, there are 3 things that I want to use: windscreen, heating, and the cruise control distance. So, you can just go up and switch and make that the primary function. And then when I press, I can't do that right now because the bike's not moving, but then I press up to close the gap and down to increase the gap. And some people think that that's too complex. I don't. I think it's really easy. In the winter, I want to access the heated grips and seats anytime I want. But in the summer or anytime other than winter, I might set this as the hold function so I can increase or decrease the gap that's being held by the active cruise control as I please. The dynamic traction control and the damping, I don't mess around with. I don't have any need to that. The modes control that for me. I have Dynamic Pro set up the way I want it. When I'm in road mode, I have the suspension set up the way I want it for that, and that's all I need. Your needs might differ. If you used all five on a regular basis, it might be a little bit more cumbersome. But you're probably not gonna do that, to be honest. You're probably gonna control these two things with modes rather than with the rocker switch. From there, I want to discuss these buttons, the multifunction wheel and the menu button, because the people who complain about the UI UX of this bike, they do have a point. Like I said, this stuff all becomes very second nature to you when you use it a few times. But it is still a little cumbersome having this menu switch which goes up or down when you have this that goes up and down. It's just redundancy, and I don't know why they have it, especially since you can use long and short presses with this to adjust other things. Like if I needed to go from the TFT to the navigation, instead of doing that, I could sorry, instead of going like that, see, and there's one of the problems. Okay, this is a little bit annoying. Let me get this back to where it was, and I'll show you what happened. So again, the TFT button is highlighted. The TFT light is highlighted. That means this stuff all controls this dash, the TFT screen. If I press and hold that, that'll change to navigator. And then pressing it back down brings it back to TFT. I don't know if you were able to see that, but that's a long hold to bring it up to navigator and just a press to bring it back to TFT. Why is that? Because if you do just short presses with this, it changes that little complication in the middle there, which I do all the time, and it makes me nuts. You know, I mean to hold it down, but I forget for a second that you have to hold it down, and I end up changing that setting. That's a little bit annoying, and I think it could be done better. I think you could do away with this button entirely. I think you could do away with this and make it into some kind of favorites button, or something that you press to scroll through these menu options, much in the same way that you would press the mode button multiple times to change through the modes that you're using. And I think that would improve this. I think that would improve this overall UI. I think you shift the responsibilities of the menu button to the multifunction wheel, which you can absolutely do, because this will do long and short presses, and everybody in the world is used to doing long and short presses because of computers and smartphones and stuff. So there wouldn't be any cognitive load that you would have to deal with in learning how to use this. It might make this, it'll make this, of course, a little bit more complex to use, but not much. And having this be turned into either a favorites button or something that will scroll through the hamburger button items, thus freeing this up to be, I don't know, a heated seat button or a heated grips button or something. You know, you could, I think BMW is doing themselves a disservice by having this redundancy. Now, this was all created by getting rid of the button here, the start-stop button that used to be here, and moving it over here, or rather up here, because this used to be, I think this used to be the heated grips button. And now that had to be added into the hamburger button. And basically, you took a switch off here, you had to move it here, and that meant something else had to move here. Okay, sure. But now we have to take this and we have to do a little bit of refactoring. So that's my suggestion to BMW, and I hope they listen, because this would improve this. This would improve this setup. Get rid of the up and down rocker switch. Move that functionality into the scroll, into the multifunction wheel, and turn this button into either a favorites or something that scrolls through the hamburger button options, and you have a better system. If you think that I'm wrong about this, let me know in the comments. If you think there's something that I'm not thinking of here, let me know. I want to know. I want to get some debate going on this, because I think we're onto something here. I think all we have to do is get BMW to watch the very end of what is now a 45-minute long video, and they will improve this for the next iteration. Won't help me much because I have this one, but I'm fine with it. But for other people, that would help. That would make them happier, and that's what you want. You want happy people. But I think that's it. I think that's it for the deep dive into the dash, the navigation, and the UI UX of the BMW R1300 GS. I know. I said I was going to talk about the app on this. We've gone really long at this point. I'll make another video for that. That will not be part of the review series for this bike. That'll just be a video on its own some week when it's raining or something. Or I'm cranky and just want to bitch about something. What do you think? Is BMW still at the top of the heap with the electronics on this bike? Have they gone too far? Did they do something that they could do even though they shouldn't have? I don't think so, but I want to know what you think. So drop those comments, hit that like, hit the subscribe. Everybody, as always, thanks for coming along for the ride. Make sure you get home safe. Enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you really enjoyed this video, and I hope you come along for the next one. See you then.